Welcome to the middle of the African bush. We are live and there is a tiny little leopard cub right next to us. My name is Brent Leo Smith. I have my good friend Brian on camera and together we are known as the Killer Bees. You might notice there is an evil baboon on his finger, and of course those who watched the sunrise safari know that these little leopard cubs had a very close encounter with the baboons. I can only see one so far, and I think it looks like young Shongile, the female cub. I'm not sure where Karula is at the moment. We've just arrived where she's moved the carcass. So she's moved away from where she was. And this is a very content-looking leopard cub. You would swear nothing untoward happened on the sunrise safari, but it's incredible. So I'm pretty sure this is Shongile that we've seen, and I know Shongile wasn't seen at the end of the sunrise safari, but they've been chased by baboons and wild dogs in the last 10 days, and I've noticed that independence of a female leopard cub is already starting to come through. She seems to be a little bit wiser than her brother and puts big distance between herself and potential threats. Now, we noticed that with the wild dogs, and you didn't even see her, from what I can understand, during that must have been very traumatic baboon sighting. So we're just going to move forward a little bit so we know where one little leopard is. Now, where are the other leopards? Well, particularly where's young Hosana? And where is the queen herself, Karula? For those who are new, Queen Karula, the dominant female leopard within our traverse area, one of the best moms around, raised many litters to adulthood. So the carcass looks like it's over there. Well, what's left of that? So while we try to figure out where the rest of the leopards are and what's going on, let's go back to, or let's go see Steph, who's on foot. Well, we found Mom. Here's Karula, very much fast asleep. The Queen of Djuma looking quite relaxed in this reclining position. And no sign of young Hosana just yet. But from what I understand, he did escape the attentions of the evil baboons. Of course, the baboons are not really evil, and they are just worried that Karula and her offspring might run off with one of their offspring. So it is normal behavior for baboons to chase leopards. They'll probably think twice with a big male leopard, but a female leopard and cubs, they definitely wouldn't want them in an area they're frequenting. And that big baboon troop does frequent this area around Cheetah Cut Line. Oh, there we go. I've been hearing them getting closer. There's also a big herd of buffalo that are just behind, and you can hear them lowing in the background every now and then. Brrr, moo. Now, buffalo low at a slightly lower level than a domestic cow. Now, of course, it was obviously quite heart-wrenching for us because we are very invested in Karula and her cubs. James Dungan is wondering, well, in a completely open area, could a baboon run down a leopard if there's no tree to get into? A leopard cub, yes, James, but an adult leopard, probably not. Now, of course, that a leopard is armed with a massive set of defensive weaponry in her claws and teeth, or his claws and teeth, and it's one of those things that you never quite know how it's going to play out. Now, of course, baboons have canines that are longer than lions, and it is a very scary prospect. Now, one amazing thing, and I really wish I'd been able to see it, but my dad actually saw it in the Linyanti region of northern Botswana. Oh, hello. Head up. What did you hear, Queen Karula? Oh, anyway, well, I think she's probably just going to put her head down again. So, as I was saying, I really wish I'd been able to see it, but my dad did see it. There was a female leopard, not much bigger than Karula, and she actually developed a way of hunting baboons out of those massive troops. and she would actually run into the middle of the troop, grab a female or a young one, and then almost play dead. She used to lie flat on the ground, and the baboons used to try bite her and grab her, and she just used to lie there till the baboons eventually left her alone. She would get up, pick up the baboon she'd killed, and walk off. Now, I'm pretty sure in that area that is learnt behavior, and one must remember that a lot of animal behavior is area specific rather than species specific. So because a leopard in Linyanti does that, does not mean a leopard in the Sabi Sands is going to do that. Of course, the Linyanti region of Botswana has a baboon population probably quadruple that of the Sabi Sands. Now, we're going to try see if we can find Hosana. We're going to do a little bumble around. And I just mentioned how massive those baboon canines are. And fortunately, our man on the ground in the tent has got a perfect example of how potentially dangerous those teeth are. Oh, look at the beautiful, beautiful little female leopard, Shongile. Now, Karula, while we were looking for Hosana, we did stop to look at some buffalo, has disappeared. And she was looking down towards the west, so I'm wondering if maybe Hosana and Karula's gone to fetch Hosana and he's down there. And we're going to definitely stay here to see how this plays out, because I've got my binoculars out and I've been panning around trying to figure out where the queen went. I mean, we were gone for a minute and a half. She disappeared. Well, that's the thing. It's live. You never know what's going to happen. So hopefully she does come back. But we're going to stay with the one leopard we can see, and hopefully she will either lead us or Karula will call her, and we're going to see some interaction. Now, there's buffalo all around us. One is giving us the evil eye at the moment. I don't know if you're going to be able to get him, Brian. Can you? Directly behind us. I'm just going to swing, roll the car maybe a little bit. It's just that it's giving us such a funny look, as my grandmother would say. It's just giving us the proper evil eye through the bush. Now there's that old joke that when a buffalo looks at you like that, he looks at you like you owe them money. Of course, now it's decided our debt is cleared. No. We still, I think it's the Brian that owes him money, not me.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Now, of course, I'm really, really fascinated to where Karula could have disappeared off to. There's a couple of different explanations, and one is all the buffalo coming a little bit close, but if that had been the case, she would have actually fetched what was left of the carcass and tried to hoist it. Second is she's gone to look for Hosana. She hasn't seen him around for a bit. He might be wandering like a naughty little boy. So she's gone to go say, "Where are you, little Hosana?" And the third, which I thought was possible when we couldn't find her, I actually went and saw some impala, and I thought, oh, maybe she's stalking again. And it's going to be interesting to see how this all plans out. And that's the amazing thing about being live in the bush. Literally, there's no script. We do not know what is going to happen next. And I'm just going to move forward a bit, because now to see the buffalo, put a little log in front of the beautiful face of young Shongile. He's got a tusked beast to show you. Well, the beautiful Shongile has vacated the screen, and we're just trying to get another view of her. So Karula is on her way back. We can just see her straight ahead of us through the bush. There she is. What was that? Yes, it is. And no, that's Hosana. Oh, Karula's in front already. Hosana's here. Oh, yay, he's safe, he's sound. There we go. She went to fetch him, so that's what she did. Now, Shongile just saw Karula moving through. Karula's actually ahead. We saw her first. And what she did was, in case it could be a male leopard, Shongile literally ran off, skulked off into some thickets further to the east of us. And I can't see her now, but let's go with the two leopards we've got. So Shongile went off down here, and we just lost sight of her. But let's see, I think Karula's probably going to call her back. So we were looking for Hosana in the wrong place. We thought he might be up here, but it turned out he was down where all the buffalo were. Is he going to go straight to the carcass? Now they're looking for Shongile. So she might call, or Karula might call. And he's going straight to what's left of that impala. Now, what's happened here is I've just been speaking about this incredible survival instinct young Shongile seems to have as opposed to her brother. She makes sure she is far from harm's way when it comes a knocking. And there was just a little display of it now. She just disappeared. She just got a glimpse of Karula through the bush. Thought, ooh, is that mom or is it another female leopard or another male leopard? Either of which could be a danger to her. So she immediately slunk off. I mean, very low to the ground. Hello, naughty boy. Catherine says, wonderful. The family is all back together, more or less. Okay, well, let's try and get a bit more of a view, at least, of the family we have. Shongile went. She should come back just now. Now, you never know what's going to happen. We've had buffalo here. We've had the little leopards disappearing, mother finding one, and you never know what's going to happen next. So we are about to go into a break shortly, but there's so much action happening out here in the African bush. But before we do that, let's get into a position to see young Hosana, the little prince. Oh, sorry about the leaves, Brian. So there we go. As we disappear, he's started to feed. There's almost nothing left of this impala. Isn't that just wonderful? And remember to stay tuned to see if he can finish it all, or will his little sister come join him. So, of course, everyone knows this is a rehearsal. So, of course, there isn't an actual advert happening at the moment. But we, here at Safari Live, would like to offer you the chance to, well, Brian, all off to you.
Welcome to the Thumb. The Thumb has extensive security called Baboon Security. Come down to the Thumb now to experience all the great things and security. The Thumb. TNCs apply.
Hopefully, young Hosana doesn't see your thumb because he might run away after his morning with baboons. Now, I'm going to try reposition ourselves out of the trees, which we are in at the moment. It's a little red bush willow. Now, for those of you who are watching the sunrise safari, it was very, very scary. And Cricket, who's 7 years old, hi Cricket, what a wonderful name, would like to know, are all cats, big cats, scared of baboons? Well, female leopards and leopard cubs generally are. A big male leopard, sometimes, but the lions are not scared of baboons. The baboons are very much scared of the lions. Now, we say that the baboons are also scared of the leopards, and that causes that aggressive behavior that they display. The likelihood of these cubs and the female being here tomorrow are quite slim. I think they're going to finish this up in the next couple of hours, and they're going to move on. Oh, Shongile has been spotted, would be my guess. Behind us, I've just heard an impala snort. And it's alarming and telling all the other impala that there's a leopard around. Of course, you never know. Maybe Mr. Tingana, the dominant male, might be on his way down the road. And there's always a possibility. It's a cool day today, so big cats are able to move. Now, to the north of us in Buffelshoek, the old man. Oh, I'll get to that now. Oh, he's just repositioning for a better feeding spot. But James is wondering, are there any updates on Mvula, the old male leopard? There are indeed. He is still on a bushbuck kill, or sorry, an Inyala kill in Buffelshoek, so to the north of our Travis area. Now I keep peering over my shoulder, trying to see if young Shongile is on her way back. So he looks none the worse the wear for his baboon encounter this morning. I didn't see any limps as he was walking, and he's tucking into this impala with gusto. And he's quite lucky. He's actually very lucky. Now, we talk about how only about 30% of leopard cubs survive to adulthood. And there was a prime example. It's not only other leopards, although they do account for the majority of the infanticides. It's baboons, it could be a python, it could be a lion, a hyena, or a wild dog. The African bush is quite dangerous if you're little. But fortunately, Karula is such a fantastic mother. I'm just going to move forward a little bit for you, Brian. What do you think? See if we can change the angle a little bit. How's that for you? Oh, sorry, Brian. There we go. There's Queen Karula. Now she's keeping a watchful eye out on the big herd of buffalo that's all around here. Welcome back, and good to have you back with us. Now, while you've been gone, not much has changed. So that little female leopard cub is still somewhere to the southeast of us. The moms fetched the little male who is devouring what is left of their impala that she caught yesterday. And I keep looking back towards, hoping the little female cub is going to come join us here. But, I don't know, she's probably on her way back, but very slowly, wanting to check whether this is actually her mother and brother before coming through. Remember, hashtag Safari Live if you want to ask any questions. Now, of course, this morning's traumatic baboon leopard encounter has left quite a few questions, and Rocky Knight is wondering, well, if a baboon did kill a leopard, would they eat it or would they just leave it? I would say, as a general rule, they'd probably leave it, but you never know. And as soon as you make steadfast rules in the bush will teach you that you are wrong, because we wrote the books. The animals didn't read them, so they don't have to listen to them. Now you might hear some branches breaking around us in the distance, and that's the herd of buffalo. They might come in a bit closer, but while we wait for them to do that, something's going on. What is Karula seen? There could be an impala here. There could be something else that's attracted her attention. Now, even though she's got a kill on the ground, I think there's an impala, Brian. Oh, I'm not sure. I'm trying to check with my binoculars. So even though they've got a kill on the ground, now her behavior to me now is saying she's possibly seen a bit of potential prey. She's not 100% sure yet. She's going to go have a closer look. Now, even though they've got a kill, the predators out here are opportunists, and especially with 2 cubs to feed, they eat a mountain of meat. So mom's got to go to the shops more often than she would if she was by herself. And so if any animal happened to stumble upon where they are, she would take this opportunity to hunt. Have you seen anything yet, Brian? Now, of course, it might not be an impala. There could be an inyala. There could be a duiker. There could be a steenbok. This area is frequented by quite a few different species of antelope. Now, she might have not seen something. She might have heard something that has attracted her attention. You see how her ears are up. She's incredibly focused. There's some elephants in the distance screaming, but that's definitely not what caught her attention. Now, we can't see anything right now, but we're going to keep a close eye on what's happening, and while we do that, let's go back to James, who's got the inner workings of an impala to show you. Look at this. There's a massive elephant bull coming right up to young Hosanna. It seems like, hopefully for his sake, the elephant's not going to chase him. Otherwise, this really isn't his day. Here we go. Look at that. A big adult elephant bull in his prime. Isn't he magnificent? Look at Hosanna. He just carries on eating. Not worried about the Ellie. Ellie's not worried about them. Isn't that amazing? Now, the wind is coming from the elephant towards the leopard, so I don't think that elephant smelt them. I'm going to keep an eye on him, but he is glorious. He's massive. He must be, I'm trying to do the maths now quickly, I think 18 foot, maybe I'm a bit exaggerating there. 4 meters, 16 foot at the shoulder. He's a very tall elephant, probably between 30 and 40 years old. And he's marching off to where young Shongile was. But I'm quite sure with her feminine wiles, she'll be able to avoid his attentions. Oh, isn't this incredible? My name is Brent. I've got my good friend Brian on camera, and we are just having the most splendid time here live in the African bush. We've got elephants coming past. We've had buffalo come through, and we've got a leopard cub munching on a recently retired impala. And of course, the thing that sort of sums it all up is this is live. You are experiencing this at the exact same time as we are. There we go, there's little Hosanna, and he is growing so quickly. A mind warp is saying, wouldn't it be great to see him hoist a part of that kill? I think it would be absolutely amazing. We've seen him sort of playfully attempt to, but nothing very serious just yet. As I said, there's not much left of this kill. So I think tomorrow's sunrise safari is going to be tracking leopards again. Hopefully not for too long before we find them. And we're just incredibly privileged that we're able to follow these animals day in and day out through the African bush. There we go. Now, as you can see, this is quite a fresh kill. It was killed yesterday, and you can see the meat's still quite red. It hasn't got that gangly, green, rotting taint to it yet. And Janet was wondering well, how long would a leopard feed on a carcass before it was too rotten? Well, Janet, leopards have no problem with rotten meat. They would scoff it happily as they would scoff fresh meat, maggots and all. So most of the big cats don't have any problem at all with dealing with absolutely putrid meat. So the only people who probably have a problem with it is us when we sit downwind of the rotting carcasses. Now, this is quite a fresh carcass, but it seems like Steph has come across one that's a little bit older. Let's go have a look. Well, there's not going to be much left of this impala once young Hosanna has finished with his late afternoon tea. Now, his sister was looking sufficiently well fed when we saw her. She is still behind us somewhere. She hasn't made her way back towards the carcass yet, but that doesn't mean she won't, and I don't want to miss a second of the action here, so we're not going to leave. And it is just so wonderful to be able to spend time with him. You can see he's now going through. Oh, he's just actually separated what looked like a piece of the shoulder from the rest of the leg, the lower leg. There we go. You can actually even see the joint. There we go. That looks like a scapula. Oh, yes, that's a scapula. So there we go. You can see the ball joint where the rest of that leg would have attached and giving it movement. So what would we probably call that? An elbow. And then you can see how or shoulder actually, shoulder, not an elbow. There we go. And you can see it. And you see how he uses his paws to hold it down. There we go. Whoop. Now, leopards don't have the massive bite force available to lions and hyenas. So on some of those bigger bones on a large antelope, or a large antelope for a leopard like this, they're unable to crush through and get to the marrow on the inside. Now, with a small antelope or baby impala or baby something else, the leopards will crush those bones so they can feed off the nutrient-rich marrow on the inside. Is he done? Are you done? Now, Karula's been hunting a lot recently due to the fact that these cubs are growing so fast, but Faith's wondering how many times a week, or what's the usual sort of rate of a leopard making a kill. So a single female leopard on her own, you're probably looking at every 3 to 4 days on average, but now with cubs of this age that are completely dependent on meat, she's probably having to kill far more frequently. It also depends on the size of the kill. But I mean, this was a full adult female impala yesterday, and it's almost non-existent today. Now, they can probably live off the meat from this for a day or two, but more than likely, Mom will be out hunting again this evening. If not this evening, definitely early tomorrow morning. There we go. You can see the ribs not quite as thick as the leg bones, and he is managing to crush through some of them. And of course, unfortunately for him, there's not as much marrow inside the ribs. So even a young leopard like this has an incredibly powerful bite. Munch, munch, munch. Now, I'm still really hoping that his sister comes back in. And as we just found out, you never know what happens, because An elephant had just walked in and joined us while we were sitting next to these incredible leopards. We had buffalo earlier, and you literally actually never know what's going to happen. But I think he's going to be making quick work of this kill, and I'm really hoping that his sister comes in and feeds again. We are about to go into a little break, but there's just so much action happening out here. You really need to stick around, so don't go anywhere. But for the last few seconds before we go, let's look at the beautiful animal, and that is the young Hosana. Now, will his sister come join? Will his mother come join? Or will another creature suddenly appear? And there we go. Practicing, practicing, practicing makes perfect. And same goes for the leopards. The more they practice hunting, practice fighting, the better they get at it. Even though a lot of those instincts are built in, they are instincts. That behavior, sorry, I got the words mixed up there. The behavior is instinctual. But of course, the more they do it, the better they get at it. Now we're sitting with some spots. Let's go across to Steph with some stripes. Well, the little prince is still getting stuck in to what's left of this impala. The great queen we can just make out over there, and she is lying in probably not the most dignified queenie posture. And she's sleeping soundly with her big fat belly. Young Shongile, not sure where she is. She's somewhere still behind us, not too far away. One of the other game drive vehicles, as they drove in, said they saw her how far, about 30-40 meters away. So she has moved closer from where we saw her sneak off. But as I said, there's even a chance they might get moving before the end of the sunset safari. Oh, he's moving the carcass. Just repositioning it to a better spot to make a better spot for him to eat in. And you can see her head off to the right there. And he looks like he's chewing on the edge of the ribs at the moment. Now, this is an adult female impala, which is a fairly sizable kill for an animal or a leopard of Karula's size. Now, Louisa's wondering, what is the largest animal a leopard will hunt? Now, again, it all depends on the individual and the area, Louisa. Now, for Karula, I'm trying to think. I don't think I've seen her take much bigger than a male impala in nearly 2 years here. Quickly across to James. Well, he is certainly making a meal out of this. It's almost done. He's, as you can see, just a bit of the rib cage left, a bit of the neck. And I would say in the next 45 minutes or an hour, there's going to be no food left here. And the leopards will probably lie about, lounge about, laze about for a while before heading to the closest water, which is probably Twin Dams Road, around the waterhole there. And I think that's where they're going to head. So maybe on the sunrise safari you might find them around the Mulwati River. It's been quite productive for us with Karula over the last couple of weeks. So hopefully it continues to produce incredible sightings of these cubs. There we go. You can see he's hiding behind the rib cage. And the pickings are getting slim. Welcome back. As you can see, young Hosana, the Prince of Djuma, is still busy devouring his impala carcass. His sister is yet to make an appearance. My name is Brent, and we're hopefully going to be seeing 3 leopards in one spot shortly. At the moment, we can only see 2 from where we are. The third is behind us somewhere, and they're nearly finished, so hopefully over the night they're going to be able to catch another one. You never know. That's the joy. An impala and a nyala might wander right into us now, and that could lead to a hunt and another kill right in this very same spot. Are you finished yet? Are you going to leave any for your little sister? Probably not. If you've got any questions about these fantastic animals, hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. Okay, Chai Connie's wondering why there are no flies, and there are. You can see, there we go, there's a little blowfly. And the reason we don't have a sort of mass of flies is due to the cool weather. So there are some flies, you can see them coming in and out of the nasal cavity there. But due to the cold weather, there's not so many flies around, which has also led to the carcass not rotting as quickly, which the flies wouldn't have been able to find as easily. So there are flies, just not the mass you would get if it was hot, and they'd be able to pick up that rotting, tainted flesh scent and descend to lay their eggs and produce the next generation of flies on Djuma. Now, of course, a lot of people find flies quite gross, but they are quite important. Oh, he's done. Oh, has he got a little limp? No, he just stepped on a stick. What do you think, Brian? Little stiff?
Little stiff.
A little stiff from his baboon encounter this morning. It looks like he might. No, he's not going to go towards his mom. He's going to flop down. We're going to have to move to go get a view of them. Just have a quick peer over my shoulder, see if the female's visible. She's not. Now, let's go to Steph with the creepy crawly. And there's little Hosanna, who has decided he is done feeding. Mom has now gone onto the carcass, and she's chewing through some of the bigger bones that he probably has not quite got the jaw strength for yet. And young Shongile is being aloof and still sticking a little bit further away, showing that independent streak that female leopards have, which causes them to go independent at a younger age than the little males. Now, there we go, Karula looking back and making sure Hosanna hasn't found himself in trouble again. Isn't she absolutely gorgeous? Yes, you deserve all the meals you get, Karula, having to look after these little rascals. Speaking of a little rascal, where are you off to? Where are you going, little one? Oh, now his mom defecated there, and no, I thought he might defecate on top of his mother. That leopard cubs do that sometimes. And maybe he's going to look for his sister. Maybe he feels like it's time for a bit of games. Okay, let's just reposition quickly. Now, there's been some very valuable lessons learnt by Karula's cubs over this last 10 days. And James Dungan's wondering, will the baboon and wild dog encounter stead them well as they get older? Most definitely. All those type of experiences can only aid their quest for survival. So, yes, it will help in the long run, James. Okay. Let's try get one last view. It does look like he's heading towards where his sister was. Sorry about the scrape. Let me move that bush. So, I'll just stop here. Well, as he disappears off to go look for his little sister, James has got an incredible encounter from about 2 inches from the ground to show you.